quietly into your home. It will arrive without footsteps, without shine. Tasting of iron and wine drawn from the blood of your kin. The cup, long filled and overripe, will tremble and dance in your hand, saturated beyond misfortune and curse. He who visits your house will bring death, not because he understands, but because the visit was already written in the marrow. The charm of your voice will swell and spill across the red floor, only to be washed away and sealed.
What horrors am I waking up to today? Huh. This time we woke up beside the pool. Well, at least we're still enjoying life a little bit while we're here. Wait, can I not leave? Thank you. Hello, everyone, and welcome back once again to Crime Scene Cleaner. And Amber, what have you gotten mixed up in this time? I understood your path prior to this, I really did. Big Jim really mixed you up with some crazy people, didn't he? Dexter?
Times are changing, but you're still such a good boy.
Yes, you are.
I had a hunch that there must be someone else behind all this. Dave was just a knucklehead. And Lars? He ran back to his master as soon as he saw us coming. We wanted to hunt down whoever profits from our friend's suffering, only to find something bigger and far worse than we expected. We killed some and lost some. I only regret that we couldn't burn it all to the ground.
Burning crime scenes to the ground would put me out of business in no time.
But I thought you wanted to be out of business. I don't even know what kind of, like, Doom Eternal cutscene we just watched. But I will say this. I don't think I've ever seen a marble statue with glasses before. That's one of those things where I was just kind of thinking about why that looks so weird, and that's gotta be it. But still, it is connected to that trafficking ring. And, wow, I knew this went to the top, but it seems like this goes to the top, or the bottom, or something. Alright, well, let's accept the email. Is this thing still bouncing out of view? There's been a couple patches to this since last time. Kinda hard to say. Circle of friends. This is it, Mr. Kowalski. We finally found the guy who was behind Dave, Lars, and dozens of other sick jerks across the state. The very respected Senator Holden. To be fair, I figured that out a few levels ago. Lars led us straight to Holden's enormous mansion, so we paid him and his friends a little visit. And they had no idea what was coming. This is a massive location. Maybe among the biggest yet. Alright, let's go. And I suspect there may be one after this, I'm not sure. This seems like a finale. But it did say 5 levels, and we've done 4. Counting this. Circle of friends. Holden's $100 million mansion hosted many parties, and was frequently visited by the uber-rich. Nobody said a word about what went on back there, but if these walls could talk, they probably wouldn't stop screaming. Sometimes this game just goes extra hard with its flavor text, doesn't it?
It'll be a long night. This has gone too far. No doubt about that. Amber's personal vendetta has grown into a real crusade. And I'm not sure how to get out of this. Even Big Jim, crazy as he was, seemed more predictable than his daughter.
Well, the good thing about the Solitude, it's a rare daylight mission. This is going to be
Amber?
huge.
I'm at Holden's.
This place is almost like a small town. Try not to lose your way.
Got it.
Yeah, they definitely went big with this. Free DLC, by the way. Free DLC. I can't wait to see what a paid DLC looks like in a game like this. Blessed are those who hunger for eternal life, for they shall drink from the cup of our Lord. Open your eyes to the truth. Your efforts shall be rewarded. Okay, we need to figure out what the best place to start is. There's a door up here, which I suspect will
I
be
need to open it
locked.
from the other side.
Okay. But man, look at this. It looks like the early stages of that Indiana Jones game, which, by the way, I did record for the channel. It's just so friggin' long, I've never been able to find the time to edit it. I think I must have recorded back in, like, December or January or something. But yeah, we're gonna have plenty to talk about this time around, not only for this that we found, but also because the developers put out a pretty interesting blog post, which I'll get into as we go. Looks like somebody tried to flee, put out one last desperate broadcast before meeting their fate right here. Maybe they were even executed, set up against this wall.
Agent Cooper, signing off.
Oh, no, that's a reference I didn't expect. Maybe we should grab ourselves a cup of coffee at the diner after this. Alright, all of this stuff locked. There is a sink nearby. Wow, you are not kidding. This place really is like a town. There's like different stations with various prayers. Offerings and sacrifices will pave the way for future blessings. Suffering purifies the soul. Words of hope, number 2. You and I might have very different definitions of hope. This is the town square, and here, I believe, is one of our ninjas. But they took their vengeance, that's for sure. Man, this all feels like a movie set. Fortunately, we can't climb the rope they used to scale that balcony. But we can use this water. Our little Ninja Turtles Fisher-Price buckets feel so out of place here, and I love it. So now all of you are done. Again, it is such a crime that you don't get a 4th bucket with a turtle skin. But let's get to work, starting from the back. 1 bucket should be enough for this. And yeah, they've definitely gone absolutely massive in scale with each of these. But they're really a lot of fun. And they enable a lot of storytelling. It's definitely gone beyond the original scope of this, but at a certain point, I feel like as developers, you sort of have to. I think I had my storytelling backwards here. Oh, there you are.
Amber's friends are getting really good at recycling.
Yeah, if they were any better, we wouldn't have to be here. This place is so beautiful. It's like an Italian village. And yet it's used for purposes like this. Oh no, just like the statue, we impaled you on the pizza logo. But that does go into what I wanted to talk about, which is the blog post that the devs made, basically addressing the accusations they've had recently about using AI assets, because this is something that I've wanted a reason to address for a while, and this is kind of the perfect opportunity. So basically, people were saying that certain assets, like the pizza man at the pizza restaurant, various other things, even some voices, are AI generated, and they basically went on and said, that's not true. Everything they make is made in-house, except for certain bot assets, and they do admit that it's possible certain assets could be AI generated. But when those claims are made, they do investigate them, and most, if not all, have been vetted to be real. But the most important thing about that is it's got to be very frustrating as a creator to have your real work that you made accused of being AI. And this is something that's annoyed me in a lot of other cases, where people are very, very, very overconfident in their ability to spot AI. And it's only going to get worse as time goes on because it's only getting easier to make a convincing AI-generated image. Oh, there's an open floor panel there. Alright, let's clean this off if we can. We're going to need to start clearing up via shredder. Actually, if the shredder were here, these guys wouldn't have taken so many losses, would they? Yeah, you were definitely sprayed down by machine gun fire. You were disadvantaged, and you still managed to win this thing.
One of Amber's girls. Shot from a distance.
Maybe that window up there? I'm also hearing music that could be diegetic from somewhere. It's very faint right now, though. But yeah, starting with the bodies, usually a safe bet, and something tells me there's going to be no shortage of these. These are actually some really dense scenes, too. I'm kind of used to more open areas in the bigger maps, but this is, these are streets masquerading as hallways. But yeah, some people have been annoyed with me in the past, like in games that have used AI voices, and they're like, why aren't you calling that out? And the answer is, I don't really like to say anything unless I'm 100% sure. I mean, I've been wrong before, and you know, it's got to be really crappy as a creator to be accused of using AI for your own personal work that you put effort into. And so really, I don't call it unless it's super, super obvious. But as I was saying, it's less and less frequent for it to be super obvious. And so people gain this sort of false confidence in their ability to spot this stuff, and it leads to... It really leads to a lot of blowback against people that did nothing to deserve it. And that's something that kind of really aggravates me. I mean, I've always kind of been of the mind that I don't super care about the use of AI assets in the capacity of a developer using it to, or a small developer rather, using it to fill in gaps, because making a game requires a huge and diverse skill set. That's just true. And I definitely wouldn't rather a whole product not exist just because there's an AI-generated, like, you know, piece of artwork on the wall or something, or maybe a voice of a minor character. That comes with some pretty major caveats, though, because obviously human assets, human work, is always, always, always going to be better than AI-generated assets. And so I prefer for that stuff to be placed into things where it doesn't matter. And there are certain things that just should never, ever be AI. I had this conversation on the Discord a while back, and really, the example that I always find myself coming back to is a game I played last summer called, was it The Descent? I think it was The Descent. It was a game about delving into the mine where the villagers eagerly awaited the return of the miners and other such crap that the AI-generated story, not asset story, was generating. And basically what it comes down to is, like, if you generate the actual story, the writing, the thing that has no barrier to entry whatsoever, what exactly did you do? What was the part of this piece of art that you actually set out to make in the first place and just needed help with the gaps? I really can't think of anything, and that's the problem, is that while in the very beginning, in its infancy, I saw AI as like, oh cool, that's a tool that people can use to like make their solo projects stronger. And the problem is that overwhelmingly what it's really been used for is to essentially be able to put out something. Not helping you achieve your goal of telling a story, but achieving the goal of having a product available. Because it is now incredibly easy to put something together for absolutely no effort and just throw it up. It's like $100 to put something on Steam. And if you just have 10 of those, spending 1,000, you know, over time, it'll just be a free revenue source. You know, you put them all in a bundle, so you sell it $1 at a time, and then you get people like me who buy that, like, $7 horror bundle. And it's definitely been a huge problem as a Let's Player of indie horror games, because horror games in particular have always been known for something of a lower bar when it comes to quality, but that used to come in the form of, like, the 2013 Unity game style of look, the Slenders of the world. And the bar is so much lower than that now, because those almost seem sort of charming by comparison to some of the stuff I run across.
I can't put it back like that.
I've always thought that the biggest problem with AI is, not when it comes to art or games or anything like that. Look at you scaling the wall with the blood of your enemies. But the potential for misinformation and disinformation, and yes, it's bad that anyone has the ability to create any image. But what I was talking about before, with people becoming overconfident in their ability to spot AI, is just one point on a spectrum where people don't believe when something is real and will believe when something isn't, and anywhere in between. And what that creates is an atmosphere where everything is under question and people can just pick and choose what they want to believe. I mean, it's even happened to me. Of course, I have looked at this very powerful set of tools and thought, how can I use this for my entertainment business? And I haven't really come to a conclusion for anything that's worthwhile. Obviously, as far as the production of actual videos, I don't really have any need for generative AI at all. The only applications I've considered it for are, like, maybe for thumbnails, but even then, it leads to a problem that I've seen with, like, Steam games, where a lot of the time, like, banners and such aren't actually representative of the actual product, and I can't think of a better way to represent the videos than the way I'm doing it right now. Like, sure, sometimes it's hard from certain games to grab a screenshot that is attractive, but you really can't get any more honest than just showing a screenshot and the titles, and, maybe photoshopping something from another part of the game if I really need it. And so I'm content to just doing that. So, okay, so it's out for thumbnails. I'm not using it there. Then there's the idea of doing it for, like, the short films, because I've always said I want to do more creative stuff. Well, there's no point in that because that's not my regular content. I'm not on any sort of schedule that needs to be sped up with that stuff. I shot a short back in October. And with that stuff, that's like a fun side project, so why use AI for that? It's more fun and more rewarding and gets better results to just do stuff myself. And if I don't know how, I can take the time to learn it. So really, the only thing I could even think of is textures for hammer maps. That's really the only thing I might still have a use for it for, I have all of these photos that I've taken personally of abandoned places, so maybe I could feed that to some sort of model and use that to extrapolate into more textures. I don't know, that's really the one use I could think of for it. Just last year, I did a video where I was doing readings of troll creepypastas, like intentionally bad ones. And it was a pretty good time, they were funny, and people accused the thumbnail of being AI generated. And I was like, what? And what it was, the first of the pastas I read there was the Judge Judy Lost Activision game. And so, in following the joke of when it was originally posted, for the thumbnail, I used a screenshot from the movie Beetlejuice, of the lady who was, like, sort of the caseworker for the afterlife. She's sitting in her chair, scowling and holding a cigarette. And the whole joke is that, yeah, she vaguely looks sort of like Judge Judy if you squint, but that's not Judge Judy. Yeah, people said it was AI generated, and came at me for that. So that's really the worst thing. It's not coming upon AI generated stuff in games that bothers me the most. It's developers getting accused of AI generating stuff that they didn't. And this game got hit with that. I might have mentioned this in the last part, but I did a look into Big Jim's voice actor because he has a very unique voice. And I'm pretty sure what I found was that he was actually a developer on this game, which is nice. It's cool to get people from, like, in-house to voice characters. That's always, like, a fun little thing to discover. Where does this go? This kind of chair does not seem to belong to any of this. Maybe it fell from above. Okay, well, thankfully there's enough light that we probably don't need a UV light unless something really messes us up. Oh, there's just so much here to clean. I got so lost in that I honestly don't know if I was efficiently cleaning or not. I haven't been paying attention at all. Senator Holden. Settling in all right? Lars says, yeah. Thank you for helping me through that whole thing. I thought Amber and her bunch of unsavory types would crucify me. We have to stay sharp, wait for the right time, and silence her for good. I got your back, Mr. Senator.
Saying something like this and ending up with a spear sticking out of your back. Kind of poetic.
That's hilarious. I don't think this is a wishing well, but somebody tossed a $100 paper bill in the fountain. Well, maybe that's why it didn't work out for you. Fitting end. You must have thought yourself pretty hot stuff after escaping in that helicopter.
Lars Matson. The genius that almost got away.
And now he's ending up in the same place as the... At this point, probably well over 100 bodies that we dumped wherever we're dumping them. That's actually a pretty good question, is what are we doing with these bodies? I'd always assumed that Big Jim had a place that he would have us send them to, but that's clearly not the case anymore, unless those old dumping grounds haven't been found in all these years. I mean, even Dexter Morgan had his dump site discovered. Yep. There we go. Is that all? Not quite sure. The UV can figure that out. There's also the question of what all counts as this area. Well, this definitely does. Whoops. Somebody lost a heel. And look at that, the footprints actually become barefoot from here on out. That's neat.
That's quite a stash.
Sure is. Can we maybe help ourselves? A lot of this is just going to come down to garbage, but yeah, I'm getting way ahead of myself. We may have to take this as a whole rather than in pieces, which makes things sort of difficult, actually. Anybody hiding back here? It doesn't look like it. Oh, a place like this could have all kinds of hidden riches, huh? The smoke-free zone. Wow, nobody was here, leaving it the cleanest place in the facility. What is all this? Well, it clearly wasn't that smoke-free. Surprisingly, it wasn't this that did them in. But we can build ourselves a little shortcut. Look at that. Neat-o. Just shoving half a 2x4 into a paper shredder. Sure thing. Wow, that's convenient. For the last time, folks, you can't smoke in here. First of all, the senator won't tolerate that kind of unhealthy habit, let alone risk any exposure to secondhand smoking. And secondly, just look around. This is a fuel storage.
Maybe they just wanted to go out with a bang.
Well, I'd say they did. Okay, so when we're checking out the upper floors, we can toss them down and then feed them through that window. The cool thing about bigger maps is that you kind of have to work out your logistics chain in order to be the most efficient. There's only 45% of the blood here. Okay, this is definitely a job for the power washer. Sometimes I forget that this actually is a power washer that, shoots water. I've been using this thing for so long. It's not quite going to be high enough, though. Our stepladder only gets us so far. I think a bit more exploration is going to be in order in a moment. We're going to have to get ourselves up there. I wonder if this door will open. That's clearly a push door. Oh. And that's clearly a blood garage, if there is to be such a thing. I wish Kowalski were as... Wait, he should be as nimble. He repelled into the last place. Are you kidding me? Dude's just being lazy now. Oh, but speaking of laziness, I've never really agreed with the sentiment that, like, if even one AI asset touches some game, that the whole thing is automatically bad. So some people get like that, and I think that's kind of dumb. But you definitely incur a debt. The more of it you use, yes, but also whether it's in important places. Like I said, I can appreciate the use of it to fill in gaps in the developer's abilities.
I can't open it from this side.
But if it's an important place, like, it's always going to be worse than human work. And if you're using AI to, like, voice your main character, like, there are so many cases where there are AI voices, and I wish that creators had even just taken a crack at it themselves. Even if they're not a voice actor, it will still come off better than... It will always come off better than something that has no ear or eye for context or emotion or anything like that. The Cardinal decides who will have the honor of joining him during the Holy Feast. Pray and give thanks till you experience the Enlightenment. A religious angle to this whole thing. I can appreciate rich people being rich people, and secret societies have definitely always been part of that. Self-congratulatory and basically meant to make them feel important about the stuff they get up to, like there's some greater purpose other than hedonism. But man, this is something else. But yeah, it adds up. If it's like a poster on the wall, I don't tend to care that much. When it's your main character's voice, when it's a bunch of assets, when it's assets that you really need to pay attention to and are, like, critical to the story, it is noticeable. You start to realize that, and it does start to make the product feel pretty cheap. Again, using The Descent as sort of a reference, that was a game that had AI voices in places they simply weren't needed at all. You were literally reading notes. There were no human characters. It would have been better to have nothing. And that's the thing, is I feel like AI should only be there to fill in gaps that need to be filled and you can't in any other way. That means if something that you can't do doesn't have to be there, I say just don't do it. You can find other ways. Like, those notes did not need to have a monotone AI voice reading over them, or ones that are extremely energetic but put the emphasis in all the wrong places. But the worst, of course, is when the story itself is AI generated. And what I came to realize from that game is that, for me, spotting AI assets doesn't even necessarily come from the assets themselves. I can look at the amount of effort I feel in a game and sort of decide if I think there's going to be assets like that based on that. And then I'll start looking around and be like, okay, yeah, now I see it. Yep. Blood and wine. When it's spilled on the floor like this, it's all the same. I know you said basically the same thing a moment ago, but I talked over it, so now I'm stealing credit for that. Speaking of stealing credit, that is also... It's always been another side of this, which is the fact that models that use generative AI, they have to scrub from other places, They don't create anything out of thin air. They have to look at other things for reference. don't really have the vocabulary for this. Somebody who is an artist could probably weigh in on this, but there's a certain style that is definitely associated with AI. You know, a lot of animated AI images tend to look a certain way, and I always thought, like, okay, this is just what AI looks like. Like, for whatever reason, it's just decided that, like, this is the average of what an animated image is. And eventually somebody pointed out to me, like, oh yeah, no, that's the GTA load screens. And I was like, what? And I compared them, and I was like, oh yeah, that is just taking the style of the GTA load screens, which are made by actual artists, and turned into, like, whatever they want it to show. And so that's gotta suck if you're an artist whose style kind of gets co-opted in that way. Because that's when you end up getting... I've seen people be accused of, you know, generating their own work. $100. We gotta remember to grab these watches. They're everywhere. Okay, this room is... All this counts as the wine cellar. Oh, all of this counts as the wine cellar. Thankfully, there's a bit of a respite here. Look at you. You went out shooting with one of those newer AKs. Had yourself all barricaded in, but I don't see any bodies around you, so either they carried out those you got, or more likely, you were not as well protected as you thought.
The wine pairing specialist got paired with a sharp object.
Like letting the wine out of a barrel. The magazine is just garbage. Alright, you're coming with us. We've got a long way to go. In fact, such a long way that something tells me there might be a shorter way if I just turn around. That's what's happened every single other time. But come on, we've gotta use the body window at least once. Yep. That did not work as well as I had hoped. There we go. So it can be done. Actually, we're finding a lot of the bodies. We already found over a third. Now that we're down here in the dingy, darky depths, which kind of makes me think that... Yep, nope, dungeon. I was just going to talk about how this probably served as a dungeon at some point, and then I remembered the big, scary basement door.
This lock is for 3 keys. I need to find them all.
And you got the first. Those who eliminated you didn't really care, but what was down there that was so important that you had to get to it in a crisis?
It doesn't look like your regular key, that's for sure. I better keep it.
Do we put it in now, or only when we've got all 3?
Whatever is down there, it has to wait. I need to find the 3 keys first. This must be Holden's wife. She hosted many high-profile parties, only to be knifed in her own wine cellar.
So if his wife is here, was he as well? I mean, he was texting Lars, but this place is huge. Do you really want to come downstairs just to tell a few details that you already both know? It's all for the benefit of those who find it, of course. There you go, it's worth the extra few throws. Nearly halfway there. Oh. We should really start moving up some of our turtles. Not the ones that have already been partially filled with blood. Oh, hey, look, this water is actually turning orange, or red. Maybe that was part of the latest patch, that's cool. Ultimately, the conclusion I inevitably reach is that I hate generative AI. Not even necessarily because I hate seeing it, but just because of the difficulties it causes for creators. Let's at least try to put things back as we move on. Get rid of trash. Yeah, there's just so much broken bottles on the shelves. That is just mean. I guess it would all show up under UV, which I guess means it's time for Senior UV Light to make an appearance. Oop. We just gotta be careful swinging it around because there's a lot of delicate glass down here. Yep. See, there's plenty revealed under this light. This is why they hire me for the big money. I'm actually kind of wondering if they haven't changed the way blood works, because, like, large patches can go away if you get, like, most of them. But in this, I find that increasingly I'm needing the UV light because little tiny traces remain. I kind of doubt it, but it feels that way at least. There goes you. Yeah, anytime the lighting gets complicated, it becomes necessary to move you forward. And these lockers could contain all kinds of goodies. The looting actually hasn't been as lucrative as I would expect from here. Then again, we only are just getting started. And nothing but towels. Towels and robes hung up. I bet this is where their feast takes place. Hierarchy of the Eon Society requirements. Neophyte, $100,000 plus donation, a personal meeting with a worshipper. Worshipper requires $500,000 plus donation, a personal meeting with a true believer. True believer costs $1 million, and 1 pint of blood for a high priest. High priest costs $2.5 million and 3 pints of blood, and a donation for the cardinal. As for the cardinal, there can be only one. His Magnificence J. Holden.
Whatever that is, poor people are not invited.
Nope. A dumbwaiter. I bet we can use that for ourselves to get into the upper levels. But there's still plenty of cleaning still to be done down here in the meantime. Oh, there is so much trash. Okay, let's begin the process of breaking all this stuff down. May as well. And let's not make more trash for ourselves. Let's not live as barbarians. The wine brand is Blood of the Lamb. All that comes from here. I'm pretty sure we've seen it in earlier levels, actually, which is some pretty nice foreshadowing. I don't know if that asset existed in-game prior to this. Yeah, more than ever, this is going to require us to take things in shifts if we want to be efficient. Break it all down first, and then worry about the other stuff. The problem is the already broken pieces blocking the not yet broken pieces. Anything else? Yes, there's always something else. Imagine if the cops come in right now. Imagine the cops come in right now and they just see a friggin' Ebenezer Scrooge ghost waving chains and smacking crates open with an axe. Meanwhile, there's a bunch of dead ninjas and billionaires and all this stuff all over the place, and everybody's pissed off. I need a vacation after this. I really do. Just grab as much of this as we can, which is a surprising amount, really. There's still things that need to be broken down. Well, hey, since we switched away from the pipe, at least it no longer makes that loud clattering noise. Look at all this stuff. It does seem to take size into account, but also, lately, it seems like the garbage bags have been a bit more forgiving. Thankfully, we can combine them, and we can fit a huge amount, which means this might not be so many trips back to the surface as it seems like. The trash, though, it always is the most mind-numbing part of all this, which is why I want to get it over with. I think that's about all. Just wave the mouse over everything. And we've got it. You know what would be a great, like, endgame upgrade? A vacuum. I think that would be a lot of fun. I mean, if we can put everything we want into a paper shredder, we can have something as ridiculous as that, right? Our central vac once ended up with a bird's nest caught in it. I don't really have a whole lot else to talk about right now, so that felt like it was relevant to share, and now that it's come out of my mouth, it just feels weird and like it requires further elaboration that I don't actually have. Whatever. Let's just continue hauling barrels out of a wine cellar, because, you know, can't have the cops seeing barrels. That would be mighty suspicious. Tell you what, nothing's going to be more suspicious than all these people just disappearing. It's so high profile. Kowalski hasn't even really talked about that, but that's what makes this so different from the other cases. At first it was low-level nobodies, then it was mobsters and gang members, people who nobody would miss, people who nobody will report. This is a much bigger deal. But then again, maybe the powers that be will have incentive to let this story die. Now that's something I'd not considered. That is a whole lot of ammo expenditure. And again, I'm not really sure what removing the bullets neatly placed right there does when... Oh no, we actually did totally pull the bullet holes right off the wall. Kowalski, you really are some sort of supernatural janitor. Yeah, this does such a good job of blending in. We definitely are going to need to move that UV up. My voice has taken a beating. This always happens when I record multiple videos in a day, but this is sort of how I relax. I talked before about how I sort of function on a point system, where the way I see it, if I'm uploading every day, what I need to do is, as long as I edit a video, that's a point, and if I record a video, that counts as a point. And anytime I get 2 points in a day, that will keep me at least at replacement rate for videos. Anyway, some days I like to record a whole bunch in a day so that I can edit a whole bunch in a day, and then in about 2 days I get several days ahead, and the edit day is kind of like a vacation day because it's really, really easy. Problem is it screws up my voice like this, but what I wanted to say was, this is something I experimented with in the last episode. I don't think I showed it. You can totally take 2 blue bags and combine them. So there is actually a much more efficient path than just tossing the black bags into the largest bag all the time. I wish I'd realized that sooner, or I wish I'd tried that sooner. I just assumed it wouldn't work. There you go. This wine actually gives me a fair bit of resistance. I think it's a combination of the fact that it's wine and this is porous stone. But with some luck, this should be the first area that we actually finish in its entirety. That's the frustrating thing about the outside, is that it's vertical. Look at this, we can even see the path you took. Blood of the lamb recipe. Water, ethanol, orange, red fruit and berry mix. Rose petals, infernal sulfur, 1 drop of blood, and sugar. Yeah, it's all very performative.
Guessing the blood wasn't really from the lamb.
This was a lot more than just a prostitution ring. Well, you're the white bag, so you are irreducible. Yeah, my voice really is starting to go. There's still some blood somewhere. There's somewhere. Where's the nearest Ninja Turtle? I've got sins to cleanse. Honestly, the biggest disappointment of this whole game is realizing that they were actual ninjas and not the Ninja Turtles themselves. Well, they do come from the sewers. Maybe they're just like the next generation. Like the 2016 Ghostbusters. Yeah, these guys were pretty effective, though. Alright, so the wine cellar is complete. Let's just keep these guys where we can see them. And head upstairs. Oh, we're back to here. Yep, so I was totally right. Deeper in, and there was a better way. I think the dumbwaiter is how we're going to be getting upstairs, though. Up there. Is that blood? I think that is blood. Okay, maybe UV is necessary outside. Works better in the dark, but not exclusively. These chairs are still something of an enigma. Alright, whatever. To the dumbwaiter. Dumbwaiter? Anyway, I'm pretty sure it had 3 floors that it could go to. This stuff is all gonna have to come out. It's gonna be stand-in room only in here, or rather crouching room. Service area. No bodies in the kitchen, but yeah, it's pretty well done at this point. I don't think I want that. Can't cross the balcony here either, which would have been pretty convenient. Unless maybe we don't need to. Oh no, we totally can. Employee quarters. Blood of the Lamb will nourish your soul, but only the Cardinal has the power to free you from the shackles of reality. He has such sights to show you. Alright, this window looks down here. Rich people and their need to feel important. This is locked. In fact, it's barricaded. Smart, I suppose. Can't really blame them. But we do have the opportunity to fill up buckets here. It's just the least convenient spot imaginable. Do you know how hard it's going to be to move buckets over here without tipping them over? But I think we might have to. Unless we can actually get on the dumbwaiter with one. What if we go upward? First floor.
I should clean it first.
Unfortunately, we're not getting out this way. Man, these are some fancy quarters. Actually, with their expensive tastes, I bet he has a binder full of fancy quarters somewhere. Sorry, I was letting my mind wander. Oop. Oh, look at that. When we press the button, it automatically corrects us so we're in the right spot. And continuously does so. I don't think this was the problem, but it definitely works better than the elevator in the last part of the community update. I really can't believe what they've done to maintain a player base. That's a lot. A huge amount of content provided in this game. I mean, all these updates have been free since the beginning. But also, you get a fair amount in the base game, and now you get all of this for, what is it, like 25 bucks off sale? Really, really great value in this. Yep.
Can't pick up anything with a full bag.
No, but I can toss a bag out the window. By the way, we need to put the window in the bag. Like a window thief. Put the window in the bag. I suppose that's what I do when I install Windows on a new computer. In a way. But you didn't hear it from me. I was in a position fairly recently where I was forced for the first time in many years to install Windows on a computer with a hard drive and no SSD. My god, I had forgotten how agonizing that is. I built a computer for a cousin back in 2018, and, you know, it was very much a budget build using, like, pretty much the bare minimum we could just to get something that puts a display on the screen. And that was, like, the cheapest, like, $20 SSD we could get from Micro Center, the kind of, like, barely even functions as an SSD, lowest storage capacity. And even that, like, it got pretty late by the time the whole thing was assembled. She was going home, and I was going to give it to her tomorrow. And before she was out of the driveway, I texted her an image of it booting to the Windows 10 desktop. Yep. I used to be pretty into PC builds, and actually on the Patreon now, I actually have a video of me playing and expressing my frustrations with PC Building Simulator 2. It may seem like really weird and niche, but it's the kind of thing that is... It's a really great mix, PC building, of creative and technical, where you have to take all these different factors and kind of match it to the needs of the user. And so I've always found it really, really satisfying in that way. Now, I've been out of the PC building game for a long time. I've repaired and made upgrades to my own computer over the years, but I used to be, like, really, really into that world, and now I don't know anything. Like, people will come to me with, like, oh, is this CPU any good? I'm like, man, I don't know. Wow, we stumbled into luxury. But it only lasts until we reach the inner sanctum. It really is just incomprehensible how some people live, huh? Here's another hierarchy poster. The garage. Okay, we're around to the other side of here. Windows everywhere. There is so much verticality, so much platforming to be done. Which means there's a lot of place to hide secrets, a place that is meant to have secrets. A place whose very existence is secretive. And yet, it also means there's a lot of challenges and potential efficiencies in our actual cleaning. Another key! And if it's hidden like this, you know what that means. What's down there is not a given. There's a bunch of lotto tickets. What they're doing here, I have no idea. Take that and that. Look, all things that have been stolen by birds. You know, I really do have to wonder what the total lost economic value to Corvids is. It's got to be in the trillions.
Empty the trash can first.
I hope that's a radio I'm hearing. You were shot as well, so maybe the ninjas cheated a little bit. Or perhaps you were hit by friendly fire. Depending on how this was set up, there may have been something of a circular firing squad.
Pierced right through her eye. She literally never saw what killed her.
Well, technically, she saw it very well for a moment. Joy Killer 2000. Ain't that the truth? Well, you will be body number half. Kowalski, I hope you're keeping some of this stuff for if Amber decides you're a loose end. I like the way they've written her character. She's sympathetic, and even friendly as far as we're concerned. But like her dad, she is desperate and willing to go that extra mile. She's not exactly fettered, and may not have a real sense of loyalty. The $100 bill is a bookmark. Okay. Let's open up all the doors and windows we can. We'll be so much happier for it if we can have free mobility. Really, it's about freedom of Ninja Turtles more than anything else. Can you go back there? No, but if you're out of the way, it'll make things easier for me. Oops. sure thing. We can rotate, but only on one axis. Is it really our responsibility to clean this? I guess it is.
First things first. Gotta scrub, scrub, scrub.
Up you go. That makes things easier. Oh, hey. Well, I guess you're probably eager to rejoin your friends then, huh? The first one always catches you on the windowsill. Gotta remember to aim... Wow, you are really fighting this like a kid that doesn't want to take a bath. Yep. And that's half. Hey, were you trying to flee? We actually have to move the car back into place. You even tried to fire some shots to defend yourself on the way out. But in the end, you were riddled with something a bit more primitive.
Looks like he tried to drive away, but they got to him before he could turn the corner.
Even that may be generous. Alright, can we get one of you in the first time? Absolutely not. Out of the question. Yep. I wonder if a window like that is something that's planned from the start, or if it's something that the devs reach a certain point in testing the level and they're like, okay, there's gotta be something we can do to make this easier. And that's what I like about this game over something like Viscera Cleanup Detail. It doesn't have nearly as many of the frustrating features. It feels like it's gone out of its way to make sure that a lot of the tedium is gone and the fun and relaxation of cleaning is the focus. Which, to be fair, when it came to Viscera Cleanup Detail, a big part of that game was the fact that it was kind of a joke. People liked it, I think, more than expected. Here, they were making a game that was built to be liked from the very beginning. Yep. Okay, that's most of the trash. Why don't we make that all the trash? I want to try out my bag idea. Ooh, what is... Oh, that's your grappling hook. I'll take that. There. Always remember to cover your tracks. Good thing the ninjas had me here to point that out. There's still trash somewhere, though. 98%. What is it? It should glow when we get close, should it not? Oh, hey, there's a tape in here. Or, I say tape. I've been calling these tapes the entire time. Let's get you cleaned up. Are you cleaned
Cleaning
up?
comes before fixing.
Yeah, you say that. What else is still dirty? Oh, this texture that doesn't want to go away. Alright, back with yous. Other UV light is all the way on the other side of the place. So we'll just use you. Everything glows under UV in this universe. It makes my job much easier. I really should, you know, if I want to get the most out of my value and really assert what I'm worth and the terms of the job, I would clean around anything that isn't a bodily fluid. I can't even say that, though. I can't say people don't pay the piper because I could leave it. I really, really could. And technically, that's only to my detriment since I want to not get caught too. But I take pride in my work. I've always gone for 100%, and I didn't have to. Okay, this stuff filled up surprisingly quick. It's always interesting to see what counts as mess and what doesn't. Because I was really bothered by that glass we left on the floor upstairs in the last place. Anyway, that's all that. I can move you now. but apparently not close the door. Oh, there we go. Yes, we can. I'm really happy about that, actually. What else needs to go away? You guys probably... No, do you not have to be returned to the rack? You do, but you have to go in the right places. Where you guys go? That's clearly blood, but it doesn't count as blood. Why? Oh, I see. You guys need to be stacked right here. And thankfully it will put you into a horizontal pose because I don't actually have the means to do that for myself. What? Look at you trying to run away. You're the antagonist to that movie Rubber. And yes, that really does exist. Look at that, spotless. This place is yet another room that's received the Kowalski treatment. But not yet. Oh, this is going to drive me absolutely insane. Hello? Look at that! Are you a piece of trash? No, you're not. There's about to be more trash. Unfortunately, this doesn't actually help me with the problem, but it is a secret. Okay, found before the cleaning's even done. Oh, it's just a back alley. That's neat. So we could have gotten in here a bit early. Alternate paths are cool. If you're going to have something that winds around itself like that, that's a really good way to handle the design of it. But you count as furniture.
There you go.
And I guess we...
Looks almost like the real thing.
I guess we got the trash now? Weird. It didn't go away when we tossed this bag out the window. I keep hearing absolutely horrifying things from up there. We're really just putting you back into place. And well, that probably goes down to where we just came from. Even still, there's so much still to be done. Moments like this, I finish a small workable part of the map, and I just sort of lean back and think to myself for a second, like, man, there's a lot of work ahead of me, but that's counterproductive. It's counterproductive because no matter what point we're at, there's always less work to do than there was when we started. So there's really nothing to complain about. I'm going to preload this place with a bucket, though it is going to need to be refilled soon. Let's finish this, so that it's not just an annoying thing that we dread coming back to, right? Actually, according to this, we've only wiped 49% of the blood. How can that be? This is how that can be.
I should clean it first.
This is how that can be. If we can fully clean you from here. Okay, we can crawl under. That's not a window, or, oh, I guess it is. Well, that's fine, because there's a sink in here, and we can use that to refill our buckets. No, don't tell me, because that guy, the gardener, would not have taken a job here. He just wouldn't. But he would totally live in a secret chamber in the walls. That's my thing. Okay. This was a bloody, bloody fight. Honestly, I don't think Amber knows the meaning of the word stealth, least of all in a moment like this. Chef's hat with kunai. Or whatever it is. That last letter was kind of cut off. So far, so good. No more loose debris that I'm seeing. Well, except for this. can't help but think about this in-between state where this would be a very confusing crime scene to stumble upon now. I feel like that could totally be like a Rian Johnson detective movie. Benoit Blanc is investigating a murder, a body found in mysterious circumstances, and the longer the case goes on, the less it seems to add up. And then later it's discovered, and we see through flashback, oh, you think this is bad? This is the part that had to be left behind after 99% of everything was already cleaned up. Not really a good place to place this on the stairs, oh, but this is where this comes out.
Is that the cook? Amber's gang really had no mercy for anyone who worked for Holden.
Hey, anyone who works here knows everything, right? That means is all of them are fair game. I actually don't disagree with that. And then again, victims may be here also. I wonder if that eventuality came up, but then again, maybe that wasn't the case, given the fact that their whole organization was in lockdown, and I've got to hand it to Amber, right? Okay. We'll place garbage bags here. Really don't have any reason to preserve this stuff. You do have to be returned to the kitchen. Ran out of here using a frying pan as a weapon. Get back on. I'm not done with you yet. Okay, so that's the delivery area done. I kind of figured this was going to count as the last of it, so I was more than willing to move on from this. 98% of the blood removed. It's always something ridiculous like this. There's just a little bit somewhere. And it's not exactly easy to maneuver when I'm holding it this far in front of my body. Oh, that counts. Well, that'll do it. This is very clearly trash. And you can probably be hung up somewhere, right? You sure can. We should probably go get that other thing. Thank you very much. Yeah, once again, it doesn't seem to be counting garbage bags as something that has to be removed anymore. There you are, back to your rightful owner, or spot, or whatever you want to call it. Still one object missing from the hook, and it's probably you. It's important to keep a clean kitchen. Hygiene standards keep us healthy. But there's still a couple of things out of place. What things? You are out of place? Hey, there's a note here. Holden's order. Tonight's a special night for me, so everything has to be perfect. If we want Blood of the Lamb to sell big, we need to amaze our guests. When it comes to appetizers, I'll leave it to you. For the main course, I want roast goose with apples. My mother's specialty, Lord rest her soul. P.S. What about half those letters are silent, I just know it? Should we or shouldn't we? I like the idea that suffering leads to something special. Just thinking about it is making me hungry. You go back here. And that's fine, but what is the remaining evidence? Usually it points it out when you get close. There must be a weapon or something somewhere. Oh my god, okay, I guess out here counts as the service area. Thank you. And now we move on. So what more is there? Well, I want to start clearing this out. We're gonna have at least 2 bodies to toss down.
Fallen to her death. But I'm quite sure that someone gave her a little push.
Someone who maybe could still be up there? Alright, this is the point where these windows need to become a body chute. Down you go. Even these. Even these. Thank you very much. Nice little bounce. Yeah, you are all facing away from the car, so it's going to take a bit. Well, you took at least one with you. Look at what they have on their heads.
She joined this cult lured by the promise of eternal life. Got quickly put out of her earthly existence instead.
Imagine that. Join a cult in order to gain eternal life and end up having a shorter than average lifespan. Alright, then what does that mean? There's still 3 bodies left. And one of them may actually be the senator himself. Will definitely be the highest profile body we've ever gotten rid of. And for this DLC, that's saying something. Let's get that. And all these. And all of this. Oh, we are going to be hauling so much garbage out of here. Why do they have to break so much? That's the frustrating thing about being a crime scene cleaner. You kind of have to see action movies in a different light now. I'm not going to be able to watch Roadhouse or John Wick or anything without thinking about the poor sap who has to clean all this. Oh, man. Okay, I think we're actually going to need more of these buckets. Many more. Since we're down here, I guess we may as well put you both out. Please, just one. Just one by the end of this. You guys are like hard-coded to catch on the window the first time. You always get through eventually, but like, man... I'm appreciative that this window is here, but could it really not... I can't even jump through myself while I'm holding you. Sure, fine, why not? Oh my god, how is it this bad? They couldn't have widened it a little bit, is what I'm saying? Like, even just a little, so that this doesn't happen every single time? Yeah, sure, fine. Alright. Let's get started. Clean off the things that need to be cleaned to be moved. I'm honestly more impressed with the chairs that somehow managed to not have any blood on them. And some things that I can't tell if they're blood or not, or wine, or whatever it may be. The piano likely doesn't need to be moved. And if it does need to be moved, that's another service entirely. I don't do heavy lifting. At least not that heavy lifting.
They planned to drink the blood, but got a real bloodbath instead.
Yeah. I always think about when my brother and I both got new mattresses simultaneously, and so the company came to deliver them. And I had thought, you know, I had pictured like 2 guys hauling a mattress up the stairs one at a time, but instead one guy hauled 2 mattresses up. It was a sight to behold. Yep. Oh, wow, we already filled all that up. Let's start from the back bucket, the one that's going to fill up the quickest. And start down here. This may all count as one room, but man, I need to compartmentalize this. Psychologically, I have to do it that way. Okay. If I try and move this thing, it's gonna be a whole thing.
Something is blocking the way.
Yep. Nirvana called and they say there's something in the way. I get it. There we go. Now that's real magic. I was worried we were going to have a whole other problem on our hands. Now, we're going to bring up the UV light. Ooh. It's a red carpet, so I couldn't tell. This is actually going to be a lot easier than I imagined. Okay, well, not going to look a gift goblet in the fire. I just said that because I was looking at a goblet when that happened. I don't actually have any sort of clever commentary for this. A UV flashlight would be a welcome tool around here. That's what I'm thinking. It really is funny that sponges are meant to be the careful, the gentle option for when you really need to fine-tune the details and make sure that everything is preserved properly. But eventually you get an upgrade that just turns them into literal fists. How do we even begin with this? Oh, no, no, no. You think you can hide this back here? Actually, overturned clocks seem to be hiding lots of things around here, so maybe you can try. But not for long. Oh, this thing's totally gonna end up shattering. It's totally gonna end up shattering. You know things are bad when you have to wash off the gloves. But these detergents are really doing work for us. These things still aren't full somehow. Careful in the margins, though. That's where the insidious details hide. I mean, can you imagine some investigator just happens to see one little speckle of blood on the tile, not realizing the huge massacre that it conceals? The one reminder. Oh, we are got so much to put back. But I'm proud of this. If anything, it gives me motivation that every single time I've been really off-put by a place, those end up kind of being the ones that get back together in the shortest order. You are not going to be pulled out from under that chair, and I am not going to bother to fight you for it. There you go. And you at the head. And that should be all. So why do we still have chairs? And look back here. And especially look back here. Hello, you. I wanted to see if they had all changed. It felt like things got darker for a moment. Well, they've certainly gotten darker thematically, that's for sure. It doesn't seem like everything back here can be similarly interacted with. Oh. There were a number of alternates. They all had to match. Well, I suppose they had to match your demise. Which is interesting, very interesting. You're giving me strong David Koresh vibes, you know that? Why do they all wear those glasses? Your own little sanctum. A sanctum in the sanctum. Red Temple. Well, we've got to listen to it, right? Creepy. It's like organ music and a distant choir. All these chains, money. 12 a.m. Official opening ceremony, wine tasting. 12:30, more beverages and snacks. 1 a.m., challenges and competitions. 2 a.m., the orgy first act. 3 a.m., sacrifices and offerings. 4 a.m., eating flesh and drinking blood. Then second act and the climax by 5 a.m.
This was a carefully planned, terrible event. I'm impressed.
I'm glad they're dead. No way.
Finders keepers.
That looked like a lot more than $700, I'm just gonna say it. Well, you can't say this wasn't a worthwhile discovery. But I can't say I'm left feeling good after seeing it. Let's start trying to put some of this stuff back together, and maybe fixing furniture will make me take my mind off of it. But probably not. Now, where does this chair here go? It may have fallen down. Seems that way. Kowalski, you've cleaned some crazy things that should probably have gone in the garbage, but cleaning the pages of a book of blood, that's another level. And you know what? I'm gonna keep the soundtrack playing because it's appropriate for here. I mean, it's of here. But it really is appropriately... I don't even know how to put it. It reminds me of, like, a dark nightmare about church. Over the railing with you.
Cleaning comes before fixing.
Oh, come on. Do we really have to put this back? We can use it as a pretty sick diving board. Or if somebody doesn't want to follow the rules of our cub, we make them walk the plank. Nobody ever wants to take my cool ideas. That be all? Oh no, you went and put stains under here in the annoying to reach places. And the places the game refuses to reach unless from the exact right angle. Blood and wine's not just a remark, it's a theme. But we're getting way ahead of ourselves here. You're full. And the others are soon to be full. UV, I think we definitely need you here. Man, music really does make the experience, doesn't it? I've had it off for a while just on the off chance that I would have to mute things, but this game's generally been good about it. No. No. We are going back to what we were just listening to because I feel like that's the only way to fully appreciate the horror of what this place actually is. I mean, given the rest of the story, it's easy to be disillusioned and see them as just a bunch of self-important rich people, but that doesn't make this any less horrifying to their victims. Stupid people can still be dangerous. Especially when they're convinced they're utterly righteous. Don't even bother with the sponges. At a certain point, you learn to mop around the delicates. This way. You got your own little chamber here. Which goes back around to the top of the stairs. Your affinity for leaving $100 bills out is much appreciated. Man of the People Award.
Man of the people. If only they knew.
Half of his constituents would just say it was AI. See, we brought this thing full circle. Goodbye. I mean, just imagine the value of the wine loss alone. I may be thinking about the wrong thing here, but I still can't help but think about it. When you spend enough time in a space, your mind wanders. It's kind of the whole conceit of the channel when you think about it. I feel like every level kind of has its final boss. Ah, look at you, a magazine. See, if this were Resident Evil, that would be where you get an upgrade. Golden Terrace. This was overlooking us this whole time. Now I can't even keep track of the things that are pick-upable. Animate the rest. Someone barefoot running across the rooftops. Attacked right there as they were lounging. Again, this would all be quite horrifying, were it not so deserved. Someone was injured here, but didn't necessarily die. Whoever this was managed to run a good distance.
A lot of recognizable names. Politicians, entrepreneurs, models, and pop stars.
And here we are, just disappearing it all. That's the worst part. We have the privileged information of uncovering all of this. And yet our job is to make sure no one will ever know. I have noted that and felt bad about it many times throughout this game. This is by far the worst. I mean, at least thanks to Amber, there are survivors of this. But it's gotta be known. Even if they died, it still feels like they're getting away with it. What else is up here? What else is off to the periphery? Can't open this. Okay, so that is just a window. And even the bathrooms are to excess. I wonder if there's something to do with these bust heads. Well, besides the heads that were busted. Alright, I'm intrigued. So, out of everybody, even Count Dracula was on the list? He's the one I didn't expect. I'll take that.
Mysterious key. Must fit into something.
Oh, we know where that goes, but what I also realized is that the other key we found up in the bird's nest is not actually one of the three. Extreme Dental Services, 2911 Elm Avenue, Manhattan Beach, California. Vampire Diamond Teeth, Diamond Clarity VS Plus, price per tooth, $14.50, number of teeth 2. Dental implant service, $800, total, $3,700. No wonder he set all this up. No, open up. That's a body.
Son. He should not have to pay for his father's sins. But it is what it is.
I mean, he's part of it, so he kind of should pay for his father's sins. I don't feel about this at all. I mean, I know children are kind of a sore spot for you. But he kind of 100% had this coming. And that. You go here. And you go there. And, well, still a big mess. And it's nothing you wouldn't expect of these high society parties. So I guess technically you're still fine. As for the first floor, we've only cleaned a very small portion of the blood. All that they could drink. Peter says, "Life sucks. I'm grounded." Grounded? You're 22. I know, but I wrecked Dad's car and hit some woman, too. It wasn't even hit and run, just hit and try to run. Oh my god, is she dead? Are you okay? No and no, but Dad got mad as hell. Said I'm not allowed to go outside anytime soon. Wants me to pray with him in the basement.
Laura, your boyfriend. Wasn't worth it.
Well, now you're free. That's the good news. He's free falling. That skull makes comic bone noises. Make me feel the urge to play xylophone rib cages with that. Get you to there. You, oh my, you are still such a mess. I swear, each of these videos on Crime Scene Cleaner ends up taking as long as an entire indie game. Places like this ain't doing that reputation any favors. Well, you can't say they don't give you a lot of content, that's for sure. Huh, even your guitar is ruined.
Hello, record label executives! My name is Peter Holden, and I'm the singer, songwriter, and the lead multi-instrumentalist of the one-man band called Dying on a Date. I sent you my demo like a month ago, and you still haven't replied. What the hell? This is some of my most amazing material. Did I tell you who my dad is?
But pause until you pull that card. Alright, let's figure this out then. You were skewered. If you weren't a vampire before, you probably were after your little prayer session.
First things first. Gotta scrub, scrub, scrub.
What about this is still dirty? Well, that, first of all. But I'm not... Okay, I wasn't seeing it. Now as for you, right here, and here. Well, you definitely had a cool room, that's for sure. I assume that you're a goth kid trying to go for the vampire aesthetic. Well, although we could get into the 2008 argument and say that vampire is a separate aesthetic from goth. I'm not looking to have that argument right now. What I am looking to argue is that potentially he is an actual vampire, or there is an actual vampire involved. Now the question is, how do we open this? It's something to do with ducks. It's always, always something to do with ducks. Is there a key to this somewhere? Not that I can find. I feel like there must be something. We are leaving stuff all over. And somehow we're not done. No, we are not at all. Letter about TV commercial. To His Magnificence Joel Holden. Sir, we have major problems making that wine commercial you requested. We're well aware that Charles F. Kane is one of the greatest movie directors of all time, a personal favorite of yours. The problem is, he clearly has a drinking problem. He constantly forgets his lines, even though he has only 3 sentences to remember. 11 words total. He also keeps repeating the words. This one is inspired by the French Revolution. Our huge request is, let's hire someone else, someone younger. Maybe a professional actor like Ron Bruce. High Priest Robert Adams. Is this a reference to, was it Marlon Brando shooting that commercial? That's valuable. As is that. Oh my, look at this. These ninjas were getting all over the place. Came to here, and probably dropped down, knocking this bookshelf as they went. That's pretty cool. All this time, I can't believe how much there still is to do. Both of you. Are you gonna go away, Blood? Thank you very much. I was really hoping that would just be a display error. This game is fairly bug-free, but it has the potential. It always holds that over your head, that at some point it might really mess you up. Because remember, perfection demands perfection. See, now we've got a far more upbeat soundtrack to clean the blood of the dead to. So many weapons left behind. There's nothing left of disorder after this. To be honest, I needed this musical vacation. I don't know what I'd do without it. I'm not sure if these things just play in a straight line. You can probably set it to shuffle. I haven't touched it at all beyond to set the song initially. Yeah, come on, come on. You can get out, but you can't get back in? Gotta grab this. Ooh, feathers. Is this maybe an Assassin's Creed reference? You can actually pass right through all of this. Unfortunately, we can't actually get out onto that walkway. So they made their entrance here. Enough broken bottles to start our own winery at this point. Also, these bolts can probably be reused, and that is all the trash for this area. Happy to see it. Fortunately, it's still an awful lot of blood and furniture. And between the two of them, I'm most concerned about the furniture. This game is like the anti-house flipper. Looks like your coat of arms didn't help you here. I'm gonna need you back on. And that's all. Well, not all. Not until I scooped those Benjis up. This place started out kind of disappointing on the loot. It has not remained so. You here. You two here. Okay, good. I was gonna lose my mind if I couldn't close that drawer. You are now full. We need to replace those. Hello? Well, I mean, besides these... a door that blends into the wall. Okay, I really, really want to think the best of you because you hang out in my daughter's room, but you just keep showing up in all the worst places. I wouldn't be surprised if your name is on that list. Look at these paintings. Harsh contrast of black on red, like two liquids spilling into each other. Goodbye, horses. And there's a safe as well. We get some money just for getting in here, but there may be further secrets. Ooh, yeah, that's a lot of horses. Nope, we can totally just open this right up.
Hello,
Wow.
Mr. President.
Wow, this really is great on the looting. Currently 7,300 worth. Seems like even more than that. And this is the highest paying job we've ever done. So, interestingly enough, right now the only thing it's telling me about is that I need to move the furniture back to its place. That doesn't sound right to me. I mean, sanity check, but to me that doesn't sound right. It's not even interested in hearing about this blood. I, for one, am very, very interested in the blood. I think it should be more of a topic of conversation than it currently is. Where does this even go? Like, are you telling me that if I were to walk out of here with this like this, you would call this job well done? You would call it 100%? Because that's just going to make me less likely to want to walk out of here. Can there still be stuff and things that had to be moved? I don't know. Okay, one statue down, one statue taken with me. That's fair as fair. Hello. Ah, right here. This is where the dumbwaiter comes up. So there's our quick way down. Haruki Origami. Eternal life. Does it have to be boring? You have plenty of time to at least enjoy yourself. Words to live by. A lot of things that I do not know what to do with. This doesn't go here. I wish I knew where it... Oh, it just goes there? Okay, fine. But we're still missing something. Even though I don't trust it to tell me exactly what. Okay, you. Where do you go? I feel like you would be hanging on a wall somewhere, perhaps over the door. Come on, man. I wish there was some way to be guided to a location. Because some of these things can be far from home. Alright, let's take care of this. I cannot tell really anything from, like, the bullets on the ground. Leaves look a lot like bullets when you have the trash out. There's our mop being filled pretty much instantly. Wow. Alright, well, we've refilled both buckets. That's the good news. What we haven't refilled is my patience for this map. It is actually really quite long. Like, every time I think we're just about done, there's a whole new area to see. Oh, hey.
That must be Senator Holden himself. Gutted like a pig. Died still believing that his wine would save him.
Well, you're just another pile of meat in the van. Later, Tater. And that's something I always like to think about. They had this high society that probably made them seem like actual vampires, an ancient order that's always been there, but they were still just people. And all people meet the same fate. That's both terrifying and reassuring, isn't it?
I feel like I'm gonna need that.
Well, we now have the ability to join him in the basement. Well, join in the figurative sense. He himself won't be
Need
there.
to clear the way first.
There we go. You tried to block it, but we were just a step ahead of you. Hey, how come you hold this, like, inches in front of your face, but the UV light has to be 10 feet away? Well, apparently 80% of the blood is already cleaned. Got shell casings mixed in with that blood. All that money and power, it makes you kooky. I don't know if there's any avoiding that. When the whole world has your whole life told you that you're special and amazing and invincible, how can you not start to believe it? Especially when everything has always seemingly confirmed that to you. Oops. You were surprisingly resilient to that hit. Master Splinter trained you well. There we go. There you go. You know, I've been thinking about this, and I think if the police were to show up right now, right? If they caught me in the act, I would not try to lie and say, oh, I just found this. I wouldn't try to say I was exposing them. What I would do is put on my sleepiest expression, which, if experience is anything to go by, is exactly what I would feel at this point, and just make sure they see me mopping. And when they ask me to stop, I would just tap my headphones, and then when they come and spin me around, I'd be like, what do you want? And I would just play the role of the dutiful janitor who does not care. Like, I don't even see this stuff, you know? Like, all I see is a mess, and I am doing my job same as I've always done. A rooftop garden. Now that we've cleaned the place, the butterflies are swarming around you. Even in death, it seems somewhat larger than life, doesn't it? Well, the nature is giving you the dignity you yourself couldn't live up to. This is a lot of stuff, and we're probably going to have to climb down there and do it with the power washer, ultimately. Hey, we've finally found it. Crumbs. I can't believe we're still finding new places like this. Where even are we? We're right here is where we are. Huh? The entrance was right there from the start. We never actually did get around to that room there, did we? I wonder if that door hides anything. This would be a lot easier if we were an assassin. Secret way in. Okay, well, we're certainly resourceful like one. What did we do with Bucket? Oh man, that whole thing is just a painted wall. Well, at least we opened that door, and this is an opportunity to pull out a couple of the old classics, right? Just the two of you lying in the bushes. Everybody leaves the same way they came in, one way or another. God, this is so aggravating. At least that was close enough to count. Right there, face down in the bushes beside your own statue. That's satisfying. Now we just need to get the other two, but there's still a body hiding somewhere. And I'm not sure if that means there's some area we haven't been to, or if there's just one that I haven't seen yet because it's in an unassuming spot. If somebody's in a chandelier again, it's gonna take a while. Oh, you go through the window on the first try! Oh my god, right there. Some of these things are so annoying to find. And hey, that doesn't count as blood for the terrace. Just get what we can while we can. Hey, is there a detergent to increase this thing's reach? What's going on down here? This is what we've been hearing. Oh, the game's on. Now, I would think we would find another body here, if anywhere. And we always had the opportunity to come out this way. But no, actually, your body may be one we've already discovered. Unless you're in the locker. Well, I'll take that, since you won't be needing to flee the country with it. Was this the security room?
I can't put it back like that.
Sure you can. It'll make it easier to clean it, don't you know? Where did this come out again? Right back here. Well, at least it'll be easy when we need to refill buckets. You tried shooting from the window. It didn't quite work out for you. We can actually see the story of how you tried to fight back, and then they noticed you, came up to try and flank you. You saw them doing it, tried to escape, but it was too late. This was a dynamic battle. Pretty neat storytelling in the environment. Okay, that's all of you taken care of. Oh, I don't care what gets launched at this point. Look, they left perfectly good cookies behind. Why is it such a trope that all security guards in media have to be the most inattentive people ever? Like, all they do is sit in their one secluded corner of a massive property listening to the loudest TV possible so that they couldn't possibly notice if something was happening.
I need to clear the way first.
Yeah. I wonder if George Harrison is on this list.
Something is blocking the way.
You actually have to do this in the particular order, or else it won't go back. You know, we have still got that chair downstairs, haven't we?
It won't move like this.
What do you mean? Alright, you to there. You to there. You. And then the other one is downstairs, which is very annoying. But from here, we can get over to this other balcony. Now, this would have been a great place to deposit bodies from, if a little more work to get to. This map is really impressively vertical, but they do the really smart thing where when you actually look around at the level design, you realize nothing is ever really that far from anything else. And they just keep doing that level after level, coming up with new ways to accomplish this.
Even Holden's employees were aware that something's off.
Something's clearly not right. I've been working here for almost 2 months, and every Friday night, a white van was bringing a fresh batch of girls. But last week, Mr. Delivery Man was a no-show. Holden's wife has been very upset lately. She was the one who always welcomed Mr. Delivery Man. And then Lars Matson moved here, looking like a shell of his former self. What's going on? I would think that everyone employed here would have been the true believers, but I guess not. Well, we can turn the volume down, but not the TV off. Them's is the rules in my house. Yeah, we need the one of you that's downstairs. Before we do that, let's come climb the balcony, shall we? If we can make our way over to here, and we could have come out the window. And that canopy, and you guys. Now we're making real progress out here. Been a long time coming. Which is what makes it so satisfying. It's aged like fine wine. And again, I wonder if that still holds true, if there's a drop of blood in it. Well, we've gotten rid of most things, but my worst fear has been confirmed. We are missing a body. Although, there is, of course, the basement and whatever other secrets this place holds. There you go. Quarters clear. Most other places clear, but we've got some standout problems, such as the sword, and the potential that it's just lying to us about certain things. So, I think the next step is going to be that mysterious door. The Crimson Shrine.
What kind of lair is this? What did the senator need it for?
I think we've discovered that quite readily. We'd suspected this, but here it is. Actual sacrifice.
They put their faith in the worst of the worst. Why am I not surprised?
Prince of Lies, into your broken wings we commit our spirits. Accept our sacrifice and infuse us with your power. Soon all nations will bow down before you. And now not even the worms do.
Amber, did you know that poor girl they sacrificed?
Must be one of Dave's ring girls. I feel too sorry for her, but we came here to bring down Holden, and that's all that matters.
Oh, okay.
Were you expecting more? Look, a pattern cut into her throat. I need to set you... I wish there was a gentle set down button. Okay, that's all the blood. But it's not all. Feel like I'm playing Oblivion all of a sudden.
Are we all set, Joel?
What?
Yes. They'll arrest him tonight. Then there will be a press conference.
And our fall guy? Who is he?
Friend of a friend. Don't worry. They'll do anything we want. His family will get the money.
Thanks, Joel. I owe you one.
God be with you, Jimmy. You deserve a happy retirement. We all do.
So, this is how Jim and Holden pulled this off.
Shit. I knew this thing goes deep, but to know that my father owes his life to this scumbag? I'm not letting him get away with this.
Jim has been in hiding for years.
He'll come back as soon as I expose both him and Holden.
Shit. This is not gonna end well.
No, it's not. Things have a way of tying themselves together, huh? Whether that relationship still existed, who knows, but, Fall Guy, huh? What's going on with that? Anyway, that seems to be just about all for here. We've just got to carry that last unfortunate victim out, man. Imagine being the last one. Hasn't even been removed from the chamber. If she had just made it a little longer. Still, there is good news, I guess, right? Amber does plan to expose them. And Big Jim is much worse than we thought. Maybe he can finally go down? Amber's the one who pulled us back, but I hate to say it, maybe she's our best bet. And a long line of potential best bets. I'm not even going to do you the indignity of trying to drag you through that window. You're being carried all the way out. Straight to the gates. I'm sorry, you're gonna have to make do with the back of a pizza truck for the rest of the journey. Ah, right here. There was a missing sword from this thing. Well, once again, that was a long way from home, and you really got chased with it. Okay, so now we can at least be reasonably sure that we have 100% on the job. Unless there's some secret area I don't know about and no body. You do all the damage you want. I have no ability to rotate you in the position that I need. Yeah, actually, how am I doing this? There we go. I'll figure it out eventually. What if we just try breaking in? Oh! Okay, so the supernatural is at work here. Okay. One of the chains went with you. Do we just have to hit the ducks? I've already found a few of them. This feels like a Nazi Zombies Easter egg, and how crazy those could get. There's another one over here I saw coming in. And he... Look at you! Oh, that was a clever one. But there's still one more. Somebody put a fork in the electrical outlet. Oh, look at that. A starry night sky. This room is pretty cool. I'm not gonna lie, I vibe with it. Using a coffin as a table, that's neat. There's the dental thing. Coffin as a shelf, too. Anybody peeking from through the curtains? Oh, come on, somebody's somewhere. Oh, hey, I never opened this one up. Could have missed out on all of that. We are going to exceed 20,000 for our payment. There you are. No game secret hasn't been discovered yet. Oh. You were the vampire. Dying on a date. Wow, we won 300 bucks out of that lotto ticket. That was the best one yet. A pentagram surrounded by skulls with wings. Could you get any more metal? Well, sure you could. A vampire rubber duck. Are cobwebs cleanable? Oh, look at that. They actually are. I don't think I've ever seen cobwebs before. Are they anywhere else? Do they count? No? What did that do? It did something somewhere. Some kind of fabric in a display case. This was a weird one. So that's how it is with secrets in this game. You just have to walk around for a while and see what seems like it's a little more than what you expect. Like, a cleaning game, cobwebs should be, and it wasn't even to do with cobwebs. It was just to do with noticing that one texture. And it wasn't even that in the end. I was just looking at the tarp under that and thinking that felt off.
This will have to do. At least for now. And you can only multiply them so many times before they're nothing like the original. We can't bypass that. So instead, we only use homeopathic levels of the blood to produce gallons of our wine.
Sounds like they were scamming their way to the top.
This is the blood portion of the creation process. And nothing to steal from here? Really? That's insane. Okay. Oh, never mind. There's a huge stack of things to steal. $1,000. We are making out like bandits. Oh, hey. And there's stuff here, too. Unfortunately, that was not cash. I didn't realize we could open these. Yep. Come on. Come on. So that's what? There was that weird thing under the mansion, the coffin, and that door with the safe that we had to open upstairs. That's 4 secrets. There's never been more than that, I don't think. So I'm gonna call this good. Let me just grab my garbage bag so that this can be done with. Is that everything everywhere? I think it probably is. Probably is. Let me just double check out of paranoia. I think we're okay. Well, they all end up in the back of the same pizza truck in the end, don't they? That was a big, big, big one. But our record continues. 18 pieces of evidence, wow. Okay, but it's the secrets that really leaves me in suspense. Well, that and the massive number of stolen items, 8 grand in cash alone. Look at all this stuff. 23.2K for 3 hours of work. Not bad, Mr. Kowalski. Admit it, you're glad to be back in the game. And that's perfect. I don't even have much to say after that. I had plenty of time to speak on my own. Did I just hear a squeak? But it's still telling us to go to bed, which means, as the store page says, there is still one more job to do, probably. And they can do anything. I think the other shoe's probably gonna drop. Hey, where is Dexter? Dexter? Where'd you end up? You're still bunking with us, huh? There you are! Right here by the foot of our bed.
Who's a good boy? Not me, that's for sure.
They didn't have to agree, jeez. Well, anyways, you can see the real time pass over there. If you like this video, please remember to like, comment, and subscribe for more creepy and comfy content. If you have any ideas for other videos you think I should do, the best place to suggest that will be at the Discord, which I will link in the description. If you want to try this game out for yourself, that link will also be in the description. If you want to support me on Patreon, that link will be in the description. And as always, I will see you in the next one.